In this video, we will be studying about the structure of the polynucleotide chain and a little about the discoveries related to the structure of DNA and RNA. Just remember that we will be just studying a bit introduction about the structure, the chemical structure as to how many carbon atoms it is, why it is called a pentose sugar, where do we have an hydrogen atom, where do we have an hydroxyl group. All this we will be taking up in the next video. So as of now, we are going to study about the structure of the polynucleotide chain. When we say polynucleotide chain, it means a combination of many nucleotides. Obviously, DNA is also a polynucleotide, RNA is also a polynucleotide. So when we are going to study about the structure of a polynucleotide chain, that means we will be studying both about the structure of the DNA and the structure of the RNA. Why are we including both DNA and RNA when we talk about a polynucleotide chain? Because both DNA and RNA are polynucleotides. They are a combination of many nucleotides. Before we go and discuss about the structure of a polynucleotide chain, first let us see the people who contributed for this structure. Or we could simply say the discoveries related to the structure of DNA and RNA. Remember, I am also including RNA with me in the topic because I said we are going to study about the structure of a polynucleotide chain. When we talk about the discoveries related to structure of DNA and RNA, first of all, we think about Friedrich Miescher. Please remember his name, Friedrich Miescher. Miescher. Friedrich Miescher in 1869. You can see that we are talking about an era, we are going very back. So this is one of the pioneer discoveries. This is one of the first discoveries about the structure of DNA or the first information which we got about the structure of DNA. So Friedrich Miescher, 1869. He identified DNA as an acidic substance which is present in the nucleus. He was observing a cell, and when he was observing a cell, he went into details about the nucleus. What all is present in the nucleus of a cell? There he saw some substance lying. At that time, nobody knew about DNA. He tried to test, he tried to find out the nature of that substance, and he found that the properties of that substance were acidic in nature. So he said, there is some acidic substance which is present in the nucleus of a cell, and he called it as nuclein. 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 Is it okay? So what is nuclein basically? This is a term which was given by Friedrich Miescher. Initially, when he saw that there is a substance which lies where? Which lies in the nucleus of a cell, he tested for the nature or the properties of that substance, and he found that this substance is acidic in nature. It shows behavior, its properties, its behavior is like an acid. So he named it as nuclein. Later, this acidic substance was renamed as nucleic acid due to its acidic properties. Because it is found in the nucleus, we take the term nucleic, and its properties are acidic, its behavior is acidic, we gave the name as nucleic acid. So you need to remember the second person's name, that is Altman. Altman, that is somewhere in 1899. Altman renamed it. So in 1869, Friedrich Miescher called it as nuclein, and somewhere in 1899, that is after 30 years, it was renamed. This nuclein was renamed, and what was the name which was given? It was nucleic acid. And who gave this term? Altman. Altman. So if you need to remember the years, who was the first person who said that there is an acid substance which lies in the nucleus of a cell? It is nuclein, and the year was 1869. After 30 years, another biologist we had, Altman. He renamed this term nuclein. He called it as nucleic acid. And it's very simple to understand why he called it as nucleic acid. Because it is found in the nucleus, we got the word nucleic, and its properties are acidic, so we call it as acid. So this is nucleic acid. And who gave this term nucleic acid? It was Altman, 1899, and the word nuclein was given by Friedrich Miescher in 1869. We need to remember about the contribution of another person, that is Levene. Luvene, Levene. This is 1910. Okay, we are going further now, 1899, we've dropped a century, we've come to the next one, that is 1910. Levene said that DNA contains a phosphoric acid and deoxyribose sugar. It was he, Levene, first who said that we have a sugar in DNA and we have phosphoric acid. He said this acidic nature of DNA is because of the presence of which acid? Because of the presence of phosphoric acid. So Levene in 1910, he gave a very clear picture. He said that DNA contains two things for sure. And what are those two things according to him? Phosphoric acid and deoxyribose sugar. He also characterized the four types of nucleotides present in DNA. So if you see, a lot of the basic structure was very clearly given by Levene. He told us about three things about the structure of a DNA. Number one, he said DNA contains phosphoric acid. Number two, he told us that DNA contains deoxyribose sugar. And he also told us that there are four types of nucleotides which are present in the DNA. So all the three things, whether it is the phosphoric acid, whether it is the ribose sugar, or whether it is the nucleotides, all the three information were given by whom to us? It was given to us by Levene. Levene, in which year? It was 1910. Now we move on to the next person, that is Erwin Chargaff. I am sure you've done this rule earlier. Erwin Chargaff. What did Erwin Chargaff do? He gave a very simple rule. What is the simple rule which tells you that in a double-stranded DNA, what is the ratio between the four bases? That is adenine, thymine, guanine and cytosine. He gave a very simple formula, Erwin Chargaff rule we call it as A plus T upon G plus C is equal to 1. We have already done numericals related to this. This is A plus T upon G plus C is equal to 1, where A is adenine, T is thymine, G is guanine and C is cytosine. So we need to know Erwin Chargaff is also put in the same category as discoveries related to structure of DNA, because he gave us the ratio. Although it was Levene who told us that we have four types of nucleotides in DNA, but the number of these nucleotides, the ratio of these nucleotides was given to us by whom? By Erwin Chargaff. So Erwin Chargaff is another very important name which we need to mention when we talk about the discoveries related to DNA and RNA. And the last, of course, you all have heard about Watson and Crick. They gave this DNA double helix model. But remember, beta, although Watson and Crick got this Nobel Prize for the structure of DNA, it was actually the work of Rosalind Franklin. Okay, remember these names also. It was the work of Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins. This structure, this double helix structure which was actually proposed by Watson and Crick, is all based upon all the findings, all the discoveries of two people, that is Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. Rosalind Franklin is said to be the first biologist. She was a lady. At that time, women were not acknowledged. Their work was not much acknowledged. So, this work, the entire work, the structure, they had done a lot of tasks, they had gathered a lot of information. Who? Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. So, it was in the same year that they had proposed the structure. The basic structure was proposed in the same year by whom? Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. But it was modified, presented before the council by whom? By Watson and Crick. And they got the Nobel Prize award for this. So we still remember that the double helix model was proposed by Watson and Crick. But remember the background structure, the initial work was given in the same year by Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. So when we talk about the discoveries related to structure of DNA and RNA, let me wind up very soon. Number one, Frederick Mesher, 1869. He said that there is some acidic substance which is present in the nucleus of the DNA and he called it as nuclein. After about 30 years, that is in 1899, Altman, he renamed this word nuclein. He called it as what? He called it as a nucleic acid. Because it is found in the nucleus, so nuclein, and it has acidic properties, so nucleic acid. So who coined the term nucleic acid? It was Altman. Moving on to Levene. Levene gave us three features of DNA. The number one was DNA contains phosphoric acid. Number two, DNA contains a deoxyribose sugar. And number 3, DNA contains 4 types of nucleotides which are present there. Okay. Then we move on to Adrian Charga's contribution. Though it was Levene who told us that we have 4 types of nucleotides, but the number and the ratio of nucleotides in DNA was given to us by whom? Erwin Chargaff. We have done this rule, A plus T upon G plus C is equal to 1. And finally, the double helix model proposed by Watson and Crick, which we need to remember here that it was based on the structure given by Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin in the same year. When we talk about the structure of a polynucleotide chain, we are talking about the structure of both DNA and RNA. When we start discussing the structure, we should know some basic terms like nucleoside, nucleotide. What is the difference between both of them? We'll come across these two words very commonly, nucleoside and nucleotide. First beta, nucleotide. When I say it's a polynucleotide chain, I need to know what is a polynucleotide. And if I need to know what is a polynucleotide, I need to first know what is a nucleotide. A nitrogenous base, a pentose sugar and a phosphate group. All 3 together is a nucleotide. So when I say nucleotide, I mean a combination of 3 things. A nitrogenous base, a pentose sugar and a phosphate group. See, when we talk about a pentose sugar, there are 2 types of sugars present. Pentose sugar, 5 carbon atoms. I will be discussing the structure in the next video. Pentose sugar means 5 carbon atoms. Both of them are pentose sugars. So we have 2 types of pentose sugar. Ribose, which is present in RNA, and deoxyribose, which is present in DNA. We'll be doing the structure and trying to find out. We'll try to find out the difference between both the sugars, although both of them are pentose sugars. Both of them contain 5 carbon atoms. So both of them, whether it is ribose or it is deoxyribose, we call them as which sugars? We call them as pentose sugars. The only difference is in RNA we have the ribose sugar present and in DNA we have which sugar present? It is deoxyribose. We have discussed about the pentose sugar which is present in a polynucleotide chain. Let us talk about the nitrogenous bases. When I say nitrogenous base, what does it mean? It means a nitrogen containing organic molecule. Remember, why are we calling it as a nitrogenous base? If you break this word, nitrogen and base. So any molecule which has a nitrogen and its physical properties are similar to a base, you can call it as a nitrogenous base. Like we had broken this word nucleic acid. Similarly, you can break this word nitrogenous base. Nitrogenous base means any organic molecule which contains nitrogen and its physical properties are similar to the properties of a base. You can call it as a nitrogenous base. There are 2 types of nitrogenous bases. Like I told you, we have 2 types of sugars. We also have 2 types of nitrogenous bases, purines and pyrimidines. When we say purines, I am talking about AG, adenine and guanine. Whenever we say purines, we are talking about AG, that is adenine and guanine. And when we use the word pyrimidines, we are talking about cytosine, uracil and thymine. Remember, cytosine, uracil and thymine. See, this cytosine, it is common for both DNA and RNA. That means cytosine will be found in both DNA and RNA. But there we have a difference. Thymine is present in DNA and uracil is present in RNA. So when we talk about the 4 nucleotide bases in a DNA, it becomes adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. But when we talk about the 4 bases in RNA, it is adenine, guanine, cytosine and uracil. So, which are the 2 purine bases which are both found in DNA and RNA? They are adenine and guanine. Adenine and guanine you will find both in DNA and RNA. Similarly, when we talk about the pyrimidines, then cytosine is found in both. However, uracil and thymine are different. Thymine is found in DNA and uracil is found in RNA. When we use the term nucleoside, we mean a nitrogenous base linked to a pentose sugar. When we say nucleoside, okay, we are talking about SIDE, not DIDE. So when we say nucleoside, it means a combination of 2 things. What are they? It's a nitrogenous base. Do you know what is a nitrogenous base now? It's a molecule, organic molecule which contains a nitrogen atom and has the physical properties of a base. So nucleoside is a nitrogenous base linked to a pentose sugar. And this linkage is called as N-glycosidic linkage. This linkage between a nitrogenous base and a pentose sugar is what we call as an N-glycosidic linkage. So where will you find an N-glycosidic linkage? You will find it in a nucleoside. When we say we are talking about a phosphate group, then a nucleotide is formed. A nucleotide is formed when a phosphate group is linked to a nucleoside. We already had a nucleoside. In a nucleoside, we had two things already linked to each other. What were the two things which are already linked to each other? We have done a nitrogenous base and a pentose sugar. To these two things, that is a nitrogenous base and a pentose sugar, when what happens is another phosphate group is added. Now we call it as a nucleotide. So nucleoside contains two things, a nitrogenous base and a sugar, and a nucleotide contains three things, that is a nitrogenous base, a sugar and a phosphate group. So whenever a phosphate group is added to a nucleoside, we call it as a nucleotide. Is it okay for everybody? Another thing you need to remember is the difference in the linkages beta. The linkage in a nucleoside where only two things are being combined, that is a base and a sugar, that linkage is called N-glycosidic linkage. What will you call it as? N-glycosidic linkage. And when a phosphate group is attached to a nucleoside to form a nucleotide, then the linkage is called phosphoester linkage. Please remember the names, phosphoester linkage. So the linkage in a nucleoside where a nitrogenous base is attached to a pentose sugar is N-glycosidic linkage. And the linkage in a nucleotide where a phosphate group attaches to a nucleoside is a phosphoester linkage. The nucleotides will link through this phosphodiester linkage to form a dinucleotide. Now two nucleotides combine, what do they form? They form a dinucleotide. And when many nucleotides join, they form a polynucleotide chain. Remember this. Two nucleotides combine, it's a dinucleotide. Very many nucleotides combine, it's a polynucleotide chain. Now we need to know that about this, what happens when the sugar combination takes place. Remember this, adenine plus ribose sugar. Supposing what is adenine plus ribose sugar, what is formed is adenosine. If it is a combination of adenine plus deoxyribose, you will call it as deoxy. See beta, now what are we doing? We need to remember the names of the compounds which are formed. How will you remember the names? If adenine combines with ribose sugar, it is known as adenosine. Is it okay? And if adenine combines with deoxyribose sugar, we call it as deoxyadenosine. Very simple. If guanine combines with ribose, we will call it as guanosine. But if guanine combines with deoxyribose sugar, we will call it as deoxyguanosine. Similarly, if cytosine combines with ribose, we are going to call it as cysteine. Okay? Now see, we are changing the bases beta. We are coming to pyrimidines now. Earlier what I did was purines. In purines, you can simply use the word SINE like adenosine, guanosine, deoxyadenosine, deoxyguanosine. But when we talk about pyrimidines, then SIN is not used. Okay? Let's see the difference. When cytosine will combine with ribose, it forms cysteine. Okay? Now we are going to use TIDINE, cysteine. And if cytosine combines with deoxyribose sugar, it will form deoxycysteine. Similarly, when thiamine combines with deoxyribose sugar, it will form deoxythymidine. And when uracil combines with ribose sugar, it is formed uridine. So these are just the combinations data. I was discussing with you that if two nucleotides combine, we form a dinucleotide. And if more than two combine, many nucleotides are joined together, what they form is a polynucleotide chain. Now this polymer chain, I am talking about the polynucleotide chain. This polymer chain is formed by a combination of many nucleotides. So we will be discussing this structure later. We just need to remember that if two nucleotides combine, it is known as a dinucleotide. And if many polynucleotides combine, we call it as what? We call it as a polynucleotide chain. This polymer chain has one end with a free phosphate moiety of ribose sugar. On one end, what will you have beta? On one end you will have a free phosphate moiety. When I use the word moiety, M-O-E-I-T-Y, I mean a part of a molecule or a fragment of a molecule, but a very important part of a molecule, almost half of the molecule. So when we talk about the big chain, on one end you will find a free phosphate moiety of ribose sugar. This is the 5' end, and the other end you will have a free hydroxyl group. So the end which has a free hydroxyl group is known as the 3' end. As of now, just remember we've got two ends, 5' end and 3' end. On the 5' end, what is present is a free phosphate moiety, that means a free phosphate part of a ribose sugar. And the other part, that is the 3' end, what is present is a free hydroxyl group. So this combination we will get, it has a 5' end, it has a 3' end. Wherever you have a hydroxyl group, free hydroxyl group, it is a 3' end. And where you have your moiety part, that is the phosphate moiety, then that is the 5' end. So the sugar and the phosphate, they form the backbone in a polymer chain. They form the backbone. Don't bother, we'll be discussing about the structure further. We'll draw the structures, we'll discuss about the structures in the next video. Thank you.